David Schwimmer, widely recognized for his role as Ross Geller on Friends, took on a very different and intense role in the second season of Goosebumps. In the episode titled The Vanishing, Schwimmer plays Anthony Brewer, a botanist who becomes involved in a supernatural mystery when a malevolent force in the form of a sentient goo begins to invade his life. The episode features a particularly memorable and disturbing scene in which Schwimmer's character tries to remove the goo from his arm using a garden tool. Schwimmer himself has opened up about this scene, describing the gross and unsettling nature of the moment, as well as how it came to life through a combination of improvisation, commitment, and special effects. The scene, a gripping horror moment. The premise of Goosebumps, The Vanishing, involves a sinister entity that has the power to manifest as a strange goo that begins to crawl through the drains and pipes. This goo is linked to the disappearance of Anthony's brother years earlier. In a pivotal scene, Anthony finds the goo has infiltrated his arm, and he must figure out a way to remove it. Schwimmer's character, frantic and desperate, uses a garden tool to try and extract the goo from his arm in his basement greenhouse. The scene is a perfect example of Goosebumps blending supernatural horror with human drama, as Anthony is forced to confront both his past and a terrifying present. Schwimmer's approach, commitment and improvisation. Schwimmer's approach to the scene was both grounded and creative. While horror often leans on exaggerated reactions, Schwimmer chose a more realistic approach by using a garden tool as the means to deal with the goo. This decision was an improvised suggestion by Schwimmer himself. He thought the garden tool would provide the necessary leverage to remove the goo and added an extra layer of authenticity to the scene. The choice of the garden tool also allowed Schwimmer to get more physical in his portrayal of Anthony's struggle. Without the actual goo present during the shoot, Schwimmer had to rely on his imagination to convey the physical sensations of the goo under his skin. He remarked that the fun came from fully committing to the act, imagining that the goo was there, and putting himself in a situation where the stakes felt real. The fun was just pretending it was all really happening and committing to it, Schwimmer explained, demonstrating the actor's immersion into the horror and discomfort of the moment. Blending practical and special effects. A combination of practical effects, makeup, and special effects helped bring the scene to life. Initially, Schwimmer filmed the scene without any physical prop for the goo, relying solely on mime and physical acting. Later, in post-production, special effects were used to create the goo that Schwimmer would remove in the scene. This technique allowed Schwimmer to focus on his performance, while the effects team could ensure that the final product was visually unsettling. Schwimmer also praised the decision to make the goo black instead of red, stating that it evoked a different response in viewers. "It's more gross than gory," he noted, emphasizing how the black goo seemed to trigger something more visceral in the audience, making it feel unnatural and disgusting. This choice, along with Schwimmer's performance, made the moment stand out as one of the most disturbing and memorable in the episode. Schwimmer's enthusiasm for horror. Though Schwimmer is best known for his comedic role in Friends, his enthusiasm for horror was evident in how he approached the material. He has expressed his enjoyment of getting out of his comfort zone, especially with a role as intense as the one in Goosebumps. Schwimmer highlighted that filming this particular scene was a great scene to shoot, showcasing his passion for exploring genres outside of comedy and embracing new challenges as an actor. This willingness to dive into different genres shows Schwimmer's versatility and his dedication to delivering fresh, captivating performances, whether in comedy or horror. The role of improvisation in the scene. What stands out in Schwimmer's portrayal of Anthony is the blend of his ability to improvise and his unwavering commitment to the role. Using a garden tool to extract the goo was not a scripted action, but one that Schwimmer brought to the table, further enhancing the scene's authenticity. His improvisation turned what could have been a simple moment of horror into something that felt visceral and real. It became clear that Schwimmer was fully invested in creating a believable horror experience, even in the absence of the very thing that was supposed to be causing the fear. The collaborative effort behind the scene. The successful execution of this scene didn't just rely on Schwimmer's talent and improvisation, but also on the collaborative efforts of the production team. The makeup artists, special effects crew, and directors all worked together to ensure the moment felt horrifying and realistic. The effects team, for example, made sure that the goo looked unsettling and made Schwimmer's struggle appear both gruesome and uncomfortable. The attention to detail in the design of the goo, combined with Schwimmer's performance, contributed to a scene that is both unsettling and memorable. Conclusion. David Schwimmer's portrayal of Anthony Brewer in Goosebumps, The Vanishing demonstrates his acting range and commitment to authenticity, especially in a scene involving a garden tool and a horrifying goo. His improvisation in suggesting the use of the tool added an unexpected element of realism to the sequence, showing his dedication to the role. The blending of Schwimmer's physical acting, the effects team's work, and the overall direction created a chilling and memorable moment in the series. It also highlights Schwimmer's ability to step into new genres and thrive, proving that he can captivate audiences in both comedic and horror settings.